Hi guys, I am coming to you from my garage again. Today we are going to do Impressionist landscapes. I will show you my sample first, and then we'll talk about Impressionism a little bit and landscapes a little bit, and then we will do a step-by-step. It's upside down, sorry. So here is my first sample. I'm gonna move in a little bit so you can see up close. So this is a painting of the view from my back porch. So we have about 5 acres of land that our house is on. We have 20 sheep, we have chickens, we have a couple of ducks, and I love it. I love the view from our back porch. When we came to visit this house for the first time, I remember stepping on the back porch and just being able to breathe and thinking, I would love this view every day. And I do. So we're really lucky and we really love it. So today I want you to think of a space that's outdoors that you love. Maybe it's your backyard, maybe it's a camping place that you like to go, maybe it's a lake that you visit in the summer, maybe it's a national park, something. I just want you to find or think of something that you love. It could just be a tree in your neighborhood. It could be a bush in your backyard. So it doesn't have to be grandiose. It doesn't have to be awe-inspiring necessarily. I just want it to be something greenish and something beautiful that you love. Supplies. This week you are going to want some thick paper, watercolor, or mixed media. And I'm going to suggest cutting your paper down to smaller sizes. So either a half sheet or even a quarter sheet is a great place to start. You will want some popsicle sticks, a jar of water, paint brushes, and I'm going to suggest medium to tiny. You don't want anything too large, but you will need some tiny brushes, and the medium is about as large as you want to go. Let's see, a pencil eraser, a pencil. Acrylic paint is what I'm going to use today. You could also use tempera paint, or if you are super fancy, you can use oil as well, oil paint. You will want a palette. I did use kind of a fancier one for my project, but you don't have to. This is great, just a yogurt lid. That's one of my favorites. All right, and I think that is it. Before we get started, let's talk a little bit about Impressionism. Impressionism began in the late 1860s, early 1870s in France, and though he was not the first person to paint in an Impressionist style, Claude Monet is considered to be the father of Impressionism. Impressionist painters are often called painters of light because they really wanted to see how they could use color to look like light on the page. A funny story about how it all got started is that there were a group of Impressionist painters that hosted an art exhibition or art show, and one of the pieces on display was by Monet, and it was called Impression, Sunrise. And a famous art critic came to the show, and he really was disappointed in what he saw. He felt like what he was seeing wasn't really as good as other artwork that was out in the world. The next day he wrote a review, and twisting Monet's title to make fun of it, he said, "All that I saw on display was just an impression." During that time period, the prominent style of painting was realism. So artists were painting what they saw as they saw it. But the Impressionists didn't care as much about what things actually looked like. They cared more about how light was playing off the page and how they could use color in different ways to highlight and shadow. A lot of times when you look at an Impressionist painting, you can see that it almost looks like the light is dancing on the page, especially in a lot of Monet's work. Some famous Impressionist painters are, of course, Claude Monet, Mary Cassatt, Auguste Renoir, Degas, Cézanne, Manet. There are a lot. So you can go on a long search of all the different Impressionist painters. There will be 3 steps for today's project. The first step will be doing a really light, simple sketch of what you're going to paint. The second step is going to be color mapping. Basically, you're going to go into each of the sections on your painting and just do a quick, big stroke of the colors that you're going to be using in each section. So on my sample piece, or my first piece, I just did big blue strokes on the top, and then I went and just did a lot of green here, and then I did some green here, and then I did brown on the bottom. Now, because I wanted to remember where I wanted the different tree lines and the different field variations, I did do my painting in different directions. So for these hills, I painted up, and then when I still used the same color green, but when I got down here, I went sideways instead. Then I went back again here, and then same thing here. But did it I think I did some cross hatching here to make sure that I remembered this is going to be a little bit darker. And your third step will be to go back in and fill it all in. So one thing I want you to remember is to either start from the very top and work your way down, or you can start from one side and work to the other side. So if you're right-handed, it's going to be best to start on the left and work your way over to the right. But if you're left-handed, it'll be better for you to start over on the right and work your way to the left so that you don't get paint all over yourself. So first I'm going to go through and show you each of the steps that I did for this painting, and then I'll go through and I'll do a totally different one on video for you to see. Last thing, for my walk you through piece that I'm going to do, I'm going to paint a lilac bush that's in our front yard. I'm going to move on and do the bush part of the painting. I'm going to actually add a little bit of yellow so I can get a few different colors of green. Ooh, that's a lot of yellow. That's all right. And we'll add a tiny bit, well, I can use that blue there. And I can use that brown. A few things I wanted to remind you. You're doing short little brush strokes and you're putting lots of color right next to each other. And remember that it doesn't have to be blended together necessarily. So the white and the blue that I just scraped off and I just put it right on just like that. Another way that you can do this is you can put one color on one side of your brush and get another color on the other side and then paint them together, and it creates a fun use of the color as well. Now that I'm almost at the very end, I am going to go in and add the lilac flowers that are blooming right now. So I'm going to use a little bit of this fun fuchsia color, magenta, and then I'm also going to use some violet and some white. I'll see if I can get some out of this over here. I totally forgot to cover it, but it's actually totally fine. Perfect. Okay. All right. Well, I hope that you really liked that, and I hope that you will try your own. I can't wait to see what you create. And just a few things to remember. One, it's okay if you don't like something. You can cover it up, you can change the color, you can fix it. Don't give up, don't throw it out, and don't totally start over. If you need a moment to step away from it, step away, come back, and keep working. All right, I hope you guys have a really great week. Also, don't forget to clean up after yourself. Just a note to help your mama out. All right, bye guys.